Hi, everyone. So welcome to the lesson for today, May 8th. We are getting started on analysis. Very exciting. So that's our big objective. Analyze the implications of evidence and how it shows support for your position. That's what we are doing in analysis. We're going to go through some reminders on due dates. We're going to talk about what is analysis for an argument essay. And then I'm going to show you a model of an analysis and a brainstorm to do that. And then you are going to brainstorm for your analysis. Yes, I'm forcing you to do that before you just start writing. And then you're going to write analysis for your first body paragraph. So a reminder on some due dates. Due this Monday, analysis for just one body paragraph. You don't need to do all of your analysis over this weekend. You can if you want to get ahead. Analysis for the rest of your essay is going to be due Thursday the 14th. So if you want to get ahead on that before the rest of the work from the week hits, that would be great. And then Monday the 18th, your final draft is due, all formatted and everything. So that Friday lesson, the 15th, will be frame and conclusion and formatting, and then we're done with the essay. Isn't this wild? Seems like we just started. And then I'm going to put up one more grammar lesson after that. And then I'll also be providing one more extra credit opportunity somewhere in here. So basically, grades are due Friday, May 22nd. I have to finalize grades on that day. So everything has to be turned in by then. If you turn it in after that Friday the 22nd, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. Okay, so how to write analysis for an argument essay. So what is analysis? In argument essays, your analysis is where you are evaluating, you're analyzing, evaluating, they kind of go together, the impact / outcome / result of the example you used for evidence. That's implications, right? We talked about implications a couple lessons ago. So essentially you're talking about cause and effect, right? You have this evidence and what are the outcomes of this evidence? What conclusions can you draw? Kind of thing, cause and effect. So how do you write analysis? These are some questions that you can ask, similar to what we did for looking at that Pew data. Asking some questions about, does this evidence cause people to be farther apart or closer together? How so? What does it show how people are more disconnected or connected? What's the effect of this example on human relationships? What causes this to happen? Why is this important? Significant? Why is this significant to society? What are the implications for society? So those are some questions you can answer. You don't have to answer all of them in every analysis, but those are some analysis questions to help you get started. You should be using cause and effect transition words. Also, maybe some adding on transition words, maybe some contrast ones as well, but primarily cause and effect transition words to connect your ideas together, right? Show how they're related. And then at the end of your analysis, you need to tie back to your assertion and your overall argument. So your thesis, right? So you're going from evidence to why am I drawing this particular conclusion, right? Why am I making this claim, my assertion and my thesis based on this evidence? Okay, so we're going to look at a analysis brainstorm and model. This is in your May 8th classwork. So I came up with a different prompt. So the prompt that I came up with to kind of model how to do an analysis is, should the United States move to all mail-in ballots rather than in-person voting? This is something that is being considered for this fall because of COVID. It's obviously not safe to have people gather in large groups to go vote. Colorado is already all mail-in, so we don't have this problem. But most other states, you still have to go vote in person. And obviously that's not safe right now. So this is a question that's being debated right now. So my assertion that I wrote in response to this prompt is, although some claim that voting by mail will lead to new levels of voter fraud is extremely rare, and that small risk is worth it to increase the number of people who vote. So I am saying, yes, we should do all mail-in ballots. So my evidence that I'm using to support that assertion is a couple of studies that showed very little evidence of voter fraud. So nationwide study in 2016 found very few instances of possible voter fraud, even in states like Colorado that already do mail-in ballots. And even a commission put together by President Trump to investigate voter fraud and corruption was disbanded in 2018 because they couldn't find anything, right? So my evidence is all like these two studies showing very little evidence, if any, of voter fraud. So for the brainstorm, you want to kind of figure out how you're going to connect this evidence to this claim that you're making, right? So my claim, as I said in the assertion, is that small risk is worth it to increase the number of people who vote. So my claim is voting by mail is a good idea to improve that participation in democracy, to increase the number of people who vote. So I need to get from my evidence to this conclusion. So I'm going to do that by brainstorming out these implications, right? So cause, effect, other effect, conclusion. So for this evidence of these studies showing little evidence of voter fraud, my sort of the next like logical step from that is that very little voter fraud is actually happening in America. So that's my next step. That would be kind of like sentence one in my analysis after my evidence. And then my next step from that is that since this is such a small risk, the bigger danger to our democracy is the number of people who will not be able to vote for various reasons. So bigger danger to democracy is majority of people not voting due to COVID, work, right? If you can't get out of work to go vote in person, then you're just out of luck. Other reasons, right? So then I'm going from that step to the conclusion that voting by mail is a good idea to improve participation. So then I put all these steps together into my actual analysis. So these are just like my ideas up here. This is my actual analysis where I'm expanding them into complete sentences and I'm putting them together with these cause and effect transition words. So because these rigorous studies have shown very little evidence of voter fraud, so I'm like referring back to my evidence right here, it is clear that not very much of it is actually happening in America, even in states where voting already occurs entirely by mail. So that's my first sentence of that analysis with this step right here. Furthermore, so I'm adding on, the numbers of people choosing not to vote or being excluded from the process for these various reasons is a bigger danger to our democracy compared to the tiny risk of fraud. Therefore, so then this is where I am tying it all back to my assertion, right? Coming back to this conclusion or claim. Therefore, increasing voter turnout should be the higher priority to improve the state of our democracy, and voting by mail will absolutely do that. So I'm bringing it back again to my larger claim. We should vote by mail. Okay, so that is the model. You are going to do the same thing, but with your own evidence and assertion. So you are going to take the first two pieces of evidence from your essay and copy them into these boxes, or just summarize them. You don't have to copy them exactly, but you can if you want. And then you're going to write your assertion or your conclusion, your claim, right? Your what you're arguing based on this evidence over here. Okay. And then you're going to do kind of the same thing that I did up here. You're just kind of going through step by step. Well, this causes this, and this is the conclusion that I can draw from this then. So you are doing the same thing. So again, here are some questions for you to answer if you're stuck on brainstorming. Try answering some of these questions to get from your evidence to your conclusion. Once you are finished with your brainstorm, you are then going to put those ideas directly into your drafting document, like I did right here. You're expanding them into complete sentences and connecting them together with those cause and effect transition words. I put the analysis key points down here as well to help you, just remind you. So you're drafting your first two analyses in your drafting document. Remember, as you're doing this, you always need to bring it back to this issue of relationships and human connection. That is what Sherry Turkle's argument is about. It is not about education. It is not about physical health. It is not about, being distracted from your work. That is not what her argument is about. You need to focus on relationships in your analysis, just like in the rest of your essay, because that is what the argument is about. So just to recap what you need to do, first, you are doing this brainstorming in the May 8th classwork document. And then you are going to write your analysis for that one body paragraph in your drafting document. So that means you're writing 2 analyses, 3 sentences each at least. So 6 sentences total for this assignment. And then once you've done both of those things, the brainstorm and writing your actual analysis in the drafting document, you are turning in today's assignment. I will be giving you feedback after you turn in this assignment. And then we will work more on analysis next week. So I'll have you revise and then finish writing your analysis for the rest of the essay next week. All right, I hope that was clear and you know what you need to do. Get in touch with me if you have any questions. Shout out to a few people who are like really taking charge and getting started on their essay, even though they were behind. You know who you are. Way to go. Let me know if you need any help. Maybe I'll see you in office hours today. Bye.